Lane Eggers, 18369, charged with driving while intoxicated, several driving violations also.
Your Honor, Mr. Eggers, I believe, pled in front of you a few weeks ago. I was thinking he had signed a plea statement, and I don't have it in my file. We might have to recall him and see if we can find the plea statement.
Well, it says here that he appeared before Judge Webb and he was ordered to appear before me for a plea.
Judge, I think I've got this, I think I have the material.
Plea
That's
agreement? Yeah, good.
That's what I'm looking for. Okay.
Mr. Eggers, I'm looking at a plea statement here. Have you gone over this document?
I have, sir. I've initialed it in several places and I signed it at the end.
Good deal. Have you gone over these terms and conditions of probation?
There's that document in the back.
The probation for 1 year?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay, so you understand the charges against you and range of penalty if you're convicted, is that right? Do you understand?
Yes,
that?
I do.
Okay. Are you pleading guilty to DWI, third offense,
That's it, yes.
driving on a suspended license, failure to register a vehicle, I guess, careless driving, leaving the scene of a crash with property damage and no liability insurance?
That's true, yes.
When you plead guilty, you give up your right to have a trial and you give up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, yes, I do.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
I am, yep.
Have you been promised anything other than what's in these documents?
No, Your Honor.
Have you been pressured to try to get you to change your plea?
No, sir.
You're guilty of these crimes, I take it?
Except for leaving the scene of the accident, yes, I am.
Okay.
Well,
I got out of the car. If that's leaving the scene of the accident, then
Probably not, but
look to the state.
Yeah, I too have questions about that. I will no process that charge, Judge.
you're not prosecuted, okay?
thank you.
I guess these are misdemeanors, on just a
Yeah.
factual basis. This time, sir, accept your plea, judge you guilty for driving while intoxicated. You're sentenced to 1 year in the county jail with all but 180 days suspended. You'll receive credit for time you've served. For driving on a suspended license, you're sentenced to 30 days in the county jail. Failure to register a vehicle, 10 days in the county jail. For careless driving, 30 days in the county jail. No liability insurance, 10 days in the county jail. You pay $200 in court cost, fine of $3,050, $20 booking fee, public defender fee of $200, DWI fine of $500, DNA fee of $250, and DWI court cost of $300. Pay what you owe at a minimum rate of $100 per month, beginning within 60 days. Your payments are made to the Sheriff's Department.
Welcome, Mr. Governor, please.
Does that 60 days upon my release or 60 days from today, Your Honor?
After your release.
Thank you.
This gentleman needs to see you first.
Okay.
Good luck to you later.
Appreciate your help, Mr. Burrow.
Zachariah Zelp, 19-151, charged with possession of controlled substances, drug paraphernalia, driving unsuspended, other driving-related charges. Good morning, sir. Do you have a lawyer?
No, I do not.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Okay. You don't have a lawyer?
No, sir.
Do you intend to hire a lawyer or make application to the public defender's office?
Yes, I need to make application to the public defender's office.
Okay. There should be an application at the jail there. If you'll fill it out and turn it in, we'll have you back on, let's see, May 9th at 10 o'clock for attorney status and arraignment. You may stand aside. Thank you, sir. State versus Kyle Tilley, 19-149. Are you Kyle Tilley?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a lawyer, sir?
No.
Okay, you gonna hire a lawyer or make application to the public defender's office?
Yes, sir.
Which of the two?
Public defender.
Okay. Have you filled out an application yet?
No, sir.
Okay, fill one out. We'll have you come back on May 9th at 10 o'clock for attorney status and arraignment. Okay, thank
All right.
you. This is 18-85, Lisa Rothman.
Your Honor, we would enter a plea of not true and ask if the court would consider setting a bond for this one.
The state would object to that. Ms. Rothman was placed on probation in August 23rd of last year, giving her approximately 4 months of probation in that year, and another, she was an absconder from the, according to the allegations, she's been out of our control since February the 6th, and no contact with her probation officer. She also failed to list her residence. She actually left her residence on February the 28th. She's failed to report to her probation officer and basically been on her own for the last 2 months. And I guess, I don't know, did she turn herself in or did we have to go get her? It makes a difference to me.
May I speak?
Well, ma'am, did you turn yourself in on this warrant, or did law enforcement pick you up on it?
No, we were pulled over and I was arrested, but I have
wait.
had contact with my probation officer.
Hold on, we don't want to get into the merits of it.
Okay.
Judge, the state's point is the only reason that lady sits here and is in front of this court is because we caught her. So I would prefer that she sit in jail, you set her a hearing on this revocation, and that we take up the matter of whether or not this lady is deserving of probation.
Well, why don't we just have a
May I?
hearing on May 9th?
Could we be heard in response, Judge, just briefly?
You don't want a hearing on, okay, go ahead.
No, we do want a hearing on May 9th, but Ms. Rothman and I talked, and she has some, from her side of this, she's had some deaths in the family, and everybody's aware of how that can affect folks. She tells me she has 2 jobs. She works at Taco Bell and Hardee's and has 4 children. She'd asked the court to consider setting her a bond of $1,000 or less.
Did she give any reason for not reporting other than,
The deaths in the family, that's the only reason, Judge.
let me
I,
just,
I have contacted my probation officer though.
Your Honor, if this Ms. Rothman has been employed at Taco Bell since February the 6th, that would make a huge difference to me. That's what I'm hearing. This lady has 2
Yes,
jobs.
sir. Yes, I'm working 2 jobs and I've had them for a while now.
Well, how long is a while?
It's not February the 6th.
I've had them for almost a year.
well, I tell you what, y'all two talk about it, and I'll make a decision on it later.
Very well. But for now,
Thank
she's
you.
ordered to reappear May 9th, and,
Right.
okay, thank you,
Can,
Judge.
thank you.
Thank you. Ryan Wennick, 18481. Controlled substances and driving without vehicle tags. Sir, I'm looking at a police statement and some terms, conditions. Have you gone over these?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand what's in these documents?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand the charge against you and the range of penalties if you're convicted?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty to possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and having expired vehicle tag?
Yes.
By pleading guilty, you give up your right to have a trial and you cannot appeal. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Other than the recommendation in this plea statement, have you been promised anything to get you to change your plea?
No, sir.
Have you been pressured or threatened to get you to change your plea?
No, sir.
Are you guilty of this crime?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
Judge, this occurs out of a traffic stop made by Patrolman Rocky Morrell on or about October the 24th of last year. He pulled over this individual, and at that time he was in possession of a controlled substance. And he pulled him over for an expired tag. And while a search of that vehicle turned up an orange container containing 57 amphetamine, dextroamphetamine pills, for which she did not have a prescription.
All right. Is that true, sir?
Yes.
This time, sir, I accept your plea. I sentence you 2 years in Department of Corrections to be suspended on terms of probation for having expired vehicle tag. You be sentenced to 1 day in the county jail. I guess that's get you credit for time, sir.
Correct, suspended, Judge.
You will pay $200 in cost, a $2,000 fine, a DNA fee of $250, $20 booking fee, $200 in public defender fees, and a drug crime assessment of $125. Pay what you owe at a minimum rate of $100 per month beginning within 30 days. You make your payments to the Sheriff's Department here in Baxter County. This will be under Act 346, so that means at this time you are not being convicted of a felony. And this gentleman needs to talk with you before you leave, so if you just go with him. Kenneth Dryska, is that right?
I pronounced it Driscoll.
Okay, 18487. Controlled substances.
Your Honor, we'll have changed plea in this case as well.
Okay. Sir, you've gone over these documents and signed them, I take it?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you feel you understand what's in this police statement and conditions of suspension or probation?
Yes.
And do you understand the charge against you and the range of penalty if you're convicted?
Yes.
Sir, are you pleading guilty to possession of methamphetamine?
Yes.
By pleading guilty, you're giving up your right to have a trial and you're giving up your right to appeal. Do you know that?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
There's a recommendation as to what your sentence should be in this document. Other than that, have you been promised anything that
No.
change your plea? Been pressured and threatened to get you to change your plea?
No.
You guilty of this?
Yes.
What happened here?
Judge, on November 16th of last year, Mountain Home Patrolman Cy Claypool noticed this gentleman enter the bargain box parking lot behind the building. And after he made contact with this individual and conducted a pat down for weapons, he noticed what appeared to be a methamphetamine pipe in his pocket. Upon search, he found a plastic baggie containing a white crystalline substance that was found to be methamphetamine.
Is this true, sir?
Yes.
This time, sir, I accept your plea. You'll be sentenced to 4 years probation. You'll pay $200 in costs, a $2,000 fine, DNA fee of $250, $20 booking fees, $200 in public defender fees, drug crime assessment of $125. Pay what you owe at a minimum rate of $100 per month, beginning from 30 days. Make your payments to the Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
This is under Act 346, which means you are not being convicted of a felony.
You need to go meet with that lady.
And if you'll just meet with this officer.
Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Robert Weibel, 18427. Forgery, theft of property.
Judge, I'm standing in for Mr. Cooper. Mr. Weibel's case, there are no issues to take up at this time. I believe the state's conveyed an offer. Mr. Cooper asked if we could
Eliza Adams, 18435.
Judge, that's for change of plea.
Okay,
If I may approach.
yes. Okay, so what sentence is he? It says he's going to the Department of Correction for 6 years. And then it says he's only going to be on probation. So what?
It's a 2-year sentence to RPF, Your Honor. It's CCC.
Okay, is the sentence 6 years with all but 2 suspended? And that's.
I would rather,
We might need to retype this one.
Judge, don't we usually, I don't know, this is Mr. Etheridge's, but usually we give them 6 years and as a condition of that, they have to be forced to complete the CCC program.
Okay. Are you wanting to put him in the Community Corrections Center or send him to the pen with a judicial transfer to Community
I want
Corrections?
to do a judicial transfer, Judge.
Are you sure?
I think it's just straight to the CCC, Your Honor.
I need Bobby, just 1 second,
If it's just straight to the CCC, then
I need Bobby.
we would sentence him to probation and a condition of that.
Okay.
That's the problem. You can't, if it's gonna be 2 years, it's gotta be a judicial transfer.
I would recommend probation possibly.
We can do that, but it would only be for 1 year.
That's correct.
We can do that.
I don't see that he would object.
Yes.
You won't, Your Honor.
Sir, I'm looking at a police statement and some terms, conditions of probation. You've gone over these, I take it.
Yes, sir.
And do you understand what's in these documents?
Yes, sir.
You've signed them, haven't
Yes, sir.
you? You understand the charges against you and the range of penalty if you're convicted?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty to possession of a defaced firearm, possession of firearms by certain persons, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia?
Yes, sir.
You're giving up your right to a trial and appeal by pleading guilty. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Other than what's been stated here in court, has it been promised anything other than
No, sir.
other than that? Okay. Has anyone pressured you or threatened you to get you to change your plea?
No, sir.
Are you guilty of these crimes?
Yes, sir.
What happened?
This arose out of a traffic stop on September 25th, 2018, with the officers from the Mountain Home Police Department. This gentleman was wanted. They observed him passing in a car. They recognized him and knew him to be wanted by the Arkansas Board of Parole. At that time, they would have encountered him at his residence, and at that time, he was found to be in possession of a firearm. It was a 9mm pistol with the serial number that had been eradicated. He is a convicted felon. He is not allowed to have firearms, and they found him to be in possession of a small amount of marijuana and drug paraphernalia consistent with that.
Okay. Just Christian.
Yes, sir.
This time, sir, I accept your plea and judge you guilty on each of the 3 felonies. You'll be sentenced to 6 years probation, a condition of which is you serve 1 year in the community corrections center, or you're sentenced to 1 year at least in the community corrections center. And are you wanting to complete the drug program?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
It is, Your Honor, that's correct.
In order to complete that, on the possession of drug paraphernalia, it's sentenced to be 1 month in county jail. You're ordered to pay $200 in costs, a $2,000 fine, a DNA fee of $250, $20 booking fee, drug crime assessment of $125.
And Judge, I spoke with the state on this matter. We would ask if the court is okay with it, that he turn himself in Friday at 5 o'clock so he can get some of his affairs in line. And I don't believe Kerry had an issue with this. He's made all his court appointments, all his appointments at my office.
Okay? Do not get in any trouble between now and
No,
then.
sir.
It will not end whatever. You'll see this gentleman.
All right, go see Bobby. I think we'll see him.
Andrew Miller, 18249. Fraudulent use of a credit card and forgery. Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good. Let's see. I take it you're his bondsman.
Yes, sir.
Getting any closer to him, you think?
I am. I'm narrowing down him in California. He's had several trails I'm on, so.
All right. You look here. I gave you a couple of months, you think you could maybe round him up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll continue to June 27th.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else is here for criminal court whose name I haven't called yet?
Judge, there's a man named Lynn Adams in the back. I told him to be here today. Apparently, I didn't tell anyone else, but we have him ready for plea.
Lynn Adams.
Lynn Adams, Your Honor. The case number is, go ahead and just have a seat. It's 18495.
Is it ready right now?
It is, but the state doesn't have their file. Okay.
Okay.
We want to go ahead and take it now, Judge?
Can.
Okay.
Lynn Adams, 18495. Come forward, sir. Mr. Adams, I'm looking at a police statement and some conditions of probation. Have you gone over these?
Yes, sir.
And did you sign both of them, sir?
Yes, sir.
And do you feel you understand what's in these documents?
Yes, sir.
You understand the charges against you and the range of penalty if you're convicted?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty to possession of a controlled substance? I guess that's what, methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
Possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a controlled substance, a misdemeanor, possession of drug paraphernalia, a misdemeanor, improper display of a license or tag, and driving an unsafe vehicle,
Yes, sir.
giving up your right to have a trial and an appeal by pleading guilty, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Other than this sentencing recommendation, have you been promised anything to get you to change your plea?
No, sir.
So you're entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And because you're guilty,
Yes, sir.
what happened?
Judge, this arises out of a traffic stop that took place on November 8th of last year. The defendant was driving a vehicle that had been, I guess the rear end of it had been wrecked, and the back window was missing, and it was covered with a clear plastic covering, covering the rear window and the rear license plate. When officers attempted to pull up behind him by giving signal lights, this gentleman pulled over. At that time, he was found to be in possession of a both controlled substance, methamphetamine and marijuana, and paraphernalia consistent with the consumption of both of those items. The unsafe vehicle charge arises from the having no back window and no ability to look through the back window, and the improper display of tags was the plastic covering the tag.
Is this true, sir?
Yes, sir.
This time, sir, I accept your plea and adjudge you guilty for possession of methamphetamine. You're sentenced to 4 years in Department of Corrections to be suspended on terms of probation. For possession of drug paraphernalia, you're sentenced to 4 years in Department of Corrections to be suspended on probation. For possession of controlled substance, marijuana, and possession of drug paraphernalia misdemeanor on each, you're sentenced to 12 months in the county jail to be suspended on terms of probation. For improper display of a license or tag, you're sentenced to 1 day in the county jail to be suspended. And for driving an unsafe vehicle, you're sentenced to 1 day in the county jail to be suspended. You're ordered to pay $200 in cost, a $2,000 fee, a DNA fee of $250, a $20 booking fee, public defender fees totaling $200, a drug crime assessment of $125. Pay what you owe at a minimum rate of $100 per month beginning within 30 days. You make your payments at the Baxter County Sheriff's Department. And before you leave, you need to visit with this officer here.
That fella right there.
Wouldn't right now.
Well,
This big fella.
just wait to say. He needs to be your best friend.
I don't want no more.
Hey, take care. Molly.
Brandy Lyons, 18507. Ms. Lyons, I'm looking at a police statement and some conditions of probation. Have you gone over these?
Yes, sir.
And do you feel you understand what's in the documents?
Yes, sir.
Pardon me. Do you understand the charges against you and the range of penalty if you're convicted?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading guilty to misdemeanor theft by receiving and misdemeanor possession of a misdemeanor crime?
Yes, sir.
As you've heard me tell others, when you plead guilty, you give up your right to have a trial and you cannot appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Are you entering this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And because you're guilty of these crimes?
Yes, sir.
This time, ma'am, I'm going to accept your plea and adjudge you guilty on each count, your offense rather. You're sentenced to 1 year in the county jail to be suspended on conditions of probation. And you'll forfeit the firearm or firearms and some U.S. currency. You'll pay $200 in cost, a $250 fine, a $20 booking fee, $200 in public defender fees. You pay what you owe at a minimum rate of $100 per month beginning within 30 days. Payments are made to the Sheriff's Department here in Baxter County.
Yes, sir.
before you leave, you'll need to see the probation officer.
Pardon me, ma'am.